What is up, my friends? Your weekend has officially started. It is Friday night. It is the late night agenda. And as always, I very much appreciate you guys being here with me. So, fair to say there's a good bit to go through again today. We've had the news about Everton's points deduction. We've had the breaking news about Luis Diaz's father's very untimely comment, shall we say. And lots of other bits and pieces to go through. So firstly, I hope you've all had a good day. As always, I hope life's treating you well, and I appreciate you giving up some of your Friday to come and have a chat with me, and I hope we'll have a little bit of fun this evening. So, look, I've got a lot to get off my chest, and you're probably not going to like some of what I have to say tonight, but as always, I can promise you one thing. It will be my honest, unfiltered, genuine opinion of these situations. So keep that in mind before you hate me, because I know sometimes I can be a little bit overly emotional on these things, but yeah. Sorry, I'm trying to just figure out something here. Why isn't this working? There you go. Perfect. So are we all good? Are we good? I'm going to wait for the chat to fill up a little bit before we get stuck into tonight's big stories, but there is a few bits and pieces doing the rounds today to speak about. Obviously, the points deduction to Everton is going to be the big topic today, because what ramifications will that have for other teams in the Premier League, and what ramification will that have for the Premier League in itself? So loads to go through on that one. I think everybody's starting to get a bit freaked out by this. You know, you see the words coming from journalists talking about a precedent being set, what this will mean for other clubs going forward. Will there be litigation? Will there be lawsuits coming the Premier League's way? I seen Miguel Delaney earlier on saying that I think he believes the information that he has to hand, which, let's be fair, Miguel's a very good journalist, is that the relegated clubs will have 28 days to put in a claim against the Premier League if they want to do so over the Everton situation, Leicester as an example. So, wow. And I'm going to have... Look, I'm going to be upfront. I'm going to have a bit of a rant in a while, because I cannot believe what I have seen come from Luis Diaz's father's mouth. I can't believe it. And I'll have my say on that as well. But look, I have a couple of thank yous. Mark gifted 5 Anfield Agenda memberships. Mark, you're very kind indeed, mate. And they've gone to Ben, to Kartikeya, I hope I pronounced that correctly, to George, to Benson, and to James Marshall. Thank you so much, mate. Yeah, I mean, I want you guys to have your say before I come in and give you my take, because I'm aware if I say something, if I start coming in, I could influence people's thought processes on this perhaps. So let me just read you the comments, I guess, on Luis Diaz's father, and we can probably go from there, and then we'll go backwards and we'll talk about Everton, we'll talk about all the other stuff. But to me, and I might be on my own, this is the big story of the day. I've got to be honest with you. This is the one that to me is more important than the Everton points deduction, which of course I will move on to. So these are comments attributed to Luis Manuel Diaz, Lucho's father. So he said, "It is true that Luis is a loyal Barcelona fan and would be his dream to go there. So far, I would like to thank Porto and Liverpool for the way they welcomed him and received him." Another part of this comment attributed to him is that the truth is that I know very little about Barcelona at the moment, said Luis Diaz's father. So look, I'm going to be honest, because that's the only way I know how to be. And I know this is going to annoy people, and I know this will be clipped, and I know people are going to call me whatever. Don't care. This is my honest opinion of it. Firstly, and I mean this sincerely, I hope Lucho has looked around at what has happened to the likes of Felipe Coutinho and other people who have deemed Liverpool potentially a stepping stone club. And whilst I understand, and I've spoken many times on the channel about the lure of Barcelona and Real Madrid to footballers from certain parts of the world, that they grew up idolising the leagues, the players, and wanting to go there, I get it. But let me make one thing pretty clear. Liverpool Football Club is no stepping stone. Liverpool Football Club is a destination club. You don't come to Liverpool to piss off the Barcelona. Right now, Liverpool Football Club are a better footballing project, a better business, and a better run outfit than Barcelona. That is not even open for debate, I don't believe. But To hear Luis Diaz's father come out with these comments in what has been a very, very, very difficult time for the Diaz family, and the support given to the Diaz family by Liverpool Football Club, obviously the Liverpool fan base, and all football fans around the world, all that goodwill, all that hope, expectation, and all those prayers, feels like a slap in the face. It feels like he's spat at Liverpool fans here and said that basically, and again, I'm interpreting these words myself here, I'm not trying to put words in his mouth, but I can't believe it. I'm astonished at the stupidity of it all. I'm astonished at the naive nature of it all. And look, make no bones about this. I have no doubt whatsoever that Barcelona will be already starting the charm offensive, and that Barcelona will be in the family's ear, and that Barcelona will be doing everything that Barcelona can do to try and make that a reality. And we spoke about it the other day. I told you that Barcelona's interest in Luis Diaz goes back quite a way before Liverpool signed him. Obviously, Barcelona haven't got the money at the moment to sign him, but they will move on players if they want to get Luis Diaz. So I guess I want to know how you feel about it. I want to know if you're like me in that you're fuming at this. I'm trying to be respectful only because of what the Diaz family has gone through. If that hadn't have happened, the words I'd be using now would be far stronger, would be far more critical, and I'm trying to give the man the benefit of the doubt, because in a week that all this has happened, to come out with that shit is astonishing to me. It is genuinely the most stupid own goal comment that I have seen from anybody associated to a Liverpool player in quite a while. It's not good enough, and that's me being nice about it. It's okay, we'll take Frankie and Killian, said Isti Urban. Colin said, afternoon, Captain Shrimp, just messing. How are you today, Mr. Holden? What should I make for my potluck tonight? Any ideas? I don't know. Chili. Chili's always good. People always seem to like chili. So, look. I want to say something, but I know it's overly harsh. But I can only be me. So if Lucho wants Barcelona, see ya. Best of luck. Bye-bye. Put him up for sale in the summer. Don't want to be here. Don't want anybody here that doesn't want to be here. And by I don't want to be here, I mean you either view this as your destination or you piss off. It's as simple as that for me. You know, Lucho has done well since he's come to Liverpool Football Club, and we all very much like Lucho, but a stepping stone club we are not, and we shouldn't be regarded in that way, and we shouldn't be even allowing these conversations to portray us in such a way. If Luis Diaz and his father want to move to Barcelona, then get your agent, get his finger out, get the deal done, and fuck off to Barcelona. Simple as that. Don't want to be here. Adios, muchacho. And that's how I feel about it. I'm not going to back down on this. Fuck him. That's honestly what goes through my head. You don't want to be here, you have visions of going elsewhere, then off you pop. Go flirt with Barcelona, get the move, and Liverpool will replace you, like Liverpool have done with other players, and will do in the future with more players. This is Liverpool Football Club, not some tin pot club. So, you probably have a guess where I'm going to go with this conversation now, right? You know me well enough at this point to know that I'm going to tie this together with a couple of options. So, firstly, I'm going to ask you guys, I'm going to put a poll into the chat because, as I said, I'll have my say on this, but I want you guys to have your say. Let's start. We're going to ramp this conversation up and build it in stages, so bear with me. Right, so the first question, and as I said, I'm ramping this up as we go along in the conversation. Question number 1. Are you annoyed at Lucho's camp for this Barcelona stuff? So, again, I'm trying to be careful, to be respectful in how I word things. But I want to know, one, are you annoyed about this? At this coming out? And look, how many times have you guys on this channel heard me say this phrase? Players and their agents get brave in international breaks. Players and their agents tend to put stuff out during international breaks when players don't have to show up for training the next day and deal with the manager or their teammates. I said it over and over again. I say it every international break. This is when these types of stories tend to come out, because there's distance between the player and the club. And that makes people grow a pair of bollocks. And it worries me, it annoys me, and it frustrates me. But you know what? I don't think this would be a big problem for Liverpool. That's how strongly I believe in this. If Lucho wants to go and Barca want them, okay, let's talk numbers, let's get a deal structured, and adios, out you go, bye-bye, so long, farewell. Liverpool can replace him, and you know where I'm going with this, right? Who can Liverpool possibly... Is there any left-sided attackers that are doing the rounds now in the world who are looking for a club? I think there might be, you know. I think there might be a certain fella in France who wants to play on the left-hand side, and I don't know, like Liverpool, and again, will be available on a free transfer. So, look, I'm going to tie the Mbappe stuff in. But there was an article today that suggested, and they used shock face emojis for this, I don't know why, but the article basically said that according to Dario AS, who I think are a Spanish publication, Kylian Mbappe will likely request a £30 million a year salary. And they go, oh, head explodes, money. Break that down, it's about £575,000 a week. I would view getting Kylian Mbappe for £575,000 a week as a goddamn bargain. Maybe I'm wrong, but when we had the conversation on the channel here over the past month or two about Kylian Mbappe, we spoke about 1 to 1.5 million as a potential wage structure. Remember? So how is £575,000 a week suddenly insane? I would say put that contract in front of him right now, if that's the numbers he's looking for. If Mbappe wants £30 million a year, give it to him. You said it's after tax. Nowhere does the word after tax come into the conversation. No quotes that I've seen show after tax. It says a £30 million a year salary. Doesn't say after tax anywhere. So even if it is after tax, you're still at the £1,000,000 a week, which apparently Mohamed Salah makes, according to his agent or his solicitor and his advisor. So, again, if Liverpool don't have a player on their hands that doesn't want to be there in Lucho, then Barcelona can buy him. Simple as that. You don't want to be here. Liverpool set the asking price. Barca can pay their fuck off. But here's the thing. Don't be naive. Don't buy into this. Oh, but Craig, he's Lucho. Oh, he loves it. Fuck it. Think. Barcelona, like they did with Coutinho, are going to be in this dude's ear non-stop now. If Barca want Lucho, and it looks like they probably do, they're not going to let this drop. If there's one thing I've learned from my time watching football, making content about football, it's that when Spanish clubs want a player, all bets are off. They will use every possible avenue to destabilise that player, to put distance between the player and the club, and to make them feel like they want, and their only option is right now. Has to be now or never. If you want your Barcelona dream, it's now or never. That happens over and over and over again. So don't want to hear any of the he'll keep his head down and play, he'll do his best, because it's all horseshit. Because Barca won't leave it that way. If Barca want the player, they're going to get in his ear and they're going to start filling his head full of nonsense. And if he's in any way up for that move, sell him. I can't be any clearer on it. Sell him. If he doesn't want to be here, sell him. Or anybody else that doesn't want to be at Liverpool Football Club. But you know what? Barca have to pony up the dough. It's all very well and good Barca briefing the media how they're willing to sell Rafinha, how they're willing to sell Ferran Torres. Fair enough, but Liverpool will have a sale price. And if Lucho wants to go, then you're going to have to hit that sale price. I don't know what that number might be. But I hope we learned lessons about Coutinho, because we got his word, we got his guarantee that he was going to stay, and look what he did. And we're in a title race. I'm going to say that again. We are in a goddamn title race. And his father comes out with this shit over an international break? To do what? What good is going to come of his father talking about his son wanting to go to Barcelona? I'm baffled. I'm shocked. And he's not that important. For me, I've said this on a few streams recently. The world has no shortage of attacking options. The world has plenty of very good attacking players coming through the ranks, and a left-sided attacking player will be, in my opinion, straightforward. So I can't be clear enough on this. I've said it for years, and I think most clubs fans would probably agree. If you don't want to be at a club like Liverpool, United, Chelsea, Arsenal, fuck off. Simple. We're not a stepping stone. We're a destination. You can achieve what you want to achieve at Liverpool. Where were Barcelona when Lucho was up for sale? That's right. They'd no money. Why have they got no money? Because they massively mismanaged themselves. How did they treat their players during that time that they were trying to force out the club? That they were trying to force pay cuts on? That they were shaming publicly? That's Barcelona. That's what you want? You want to go from a club like Liverpool, who move heaven and earth to support you and your family in a very difficult, very trying circumstance that the whole world rightly was on the Diaz family side, wanting the popular outcome, wanting him to be safe home with his family. And in that week, after Liverpool sent, I think it was MI5 agents or some very, very high profile security detail with Diaz back over to Colombia, this is the thanks that Liverpool get from his father? This shit that he comes out with about Porto and Liverpool thanking them for the service? Fuck you! This is Liverpool Football Club. If you don't want to be here, then into the under-21s with them. This has drove me mental, folks. I'm honestly fucking fuming. The same happened with João Felix. It's so wrong to flirt with other clubs while this club and has a fan base behind you, said Mahmoud. It's ridiculous, mate. It's absolutely ridiculous. It's and there's more than one set of comments. That's what gets me here. It's not like one thing's been misinterpreted, because that can happen as well. And I'm not quick to rush the judgment on this, but sometimes I know stuff that you don't know. Sometimes you know stuff that I don't know. Sometimes none of us know anything. But I got a heads up on the Diaz stuff. And that's why we've been talking about it this week. And I keep saying this, international breaks are a pain in the arse because this stuff happens endlessly. And no matter what's said now, this is a distraction. I don't care what Klopp says. We'll be told and spun a yarn about how this isn't destabilising and how this is nothing. Bullshit. It's something. There's something to this. Don't treat us like idiots again. Oh, lads. I'm going to read some of your comments. Barca threw out their best ever number 9 for 0, said Mace. Barcelona tried to shame Dembele into a move. They couldn't kick Frankie de Jong out the door quick enough when they wanted to try and raise money. They shamed some of their high-earning players. They were looking for people to take huge wage cuts. Barcelona have absolutely no morality in any way, shape or form in this present, guys. And I say this as a publicised fan. Somebody who I've told you for years, after Liverpool, Barcelona are my other team. And I can't believe this shit again. So, I've asked you guys at the start of the stream, and we've had nearly 1,000 votes so far. Are you annoyed at Lucho's camp for this Barcelona stuff? And I promised you I was going to ramp it up. Now I'm going to ask you the next question. I'm going to end that poll. 71% of you are annoyed. 29% of you aren't annoyed. So the next question I'm going to ask is, should Liverpool sell? I don't mean in January. Nothing's going to happen in January. So next question, should Liverpool sell him in the summer? Yes or no? Look, I get it. I'm reactionary. Fans are reactionary. You know, people will say this making mountains out of molehills. But in the week that's in it, in a night where Luis Diaz came to his country's rescue last night, scoring a brace late on after coming from a goal down to beat Brazil, his son scores 2 headers, and that's what we get. That just feels like a slap in the face. It does. It just feels like a slap in the face. Craig, if we do lose Lucho this time, we should be smart and try and get De Jong. 100%. Arian. No argument. Now, look, people will differ in their belief of whether De Jong is attainable or not, or whether De Jong wants to leave Barca or not. And that's a fair conversation. Frenkie de Jong has made it pretty clear over numerous times that he likes Barcelona, he likes playing for Barcelona, and he wants his move to be a success. And who can blame him? You know, I get it. And he's fought through adversity at Barcelona, and Frenkie de Jong has shown his class at Barcelona. But if there is an option for it, I think yes. But again, it could be a timing thing. So we could have a situation now where Liverpool buy Andre in January. Okay, as an example, none of us know, and I'm being honest, I don't know at this moment in time if Liverpool are going to sign Andre in January or not. But if we do sign him in January, you could make a very good argument we don't need Frenkie de Jong. If we don't sign him in January and that becomes an option down the line, absolutely, we can have that conversation. We love, you know, a lot of us recognise the talent and like Frenkie de Jong. His wages, that's another conversation. But for people coming in and saying, is this stuff true? Yes. Again, I'll read you through the quotes for those who were coming in a bit late that may not have seen the quotes attributed to Luis Diaz's father. So, Sport Witness have said that Luis Manuel Diaz, Lucho's father, said, "It is true that Luis is a loyal Barcelona fan and it would be his dream to go there. So far, I would like to thank Porto and Liverpool for the way they welcomed him and received him." Another comment says, "The truth is that I know very little about Barcelona at the moment," said Luis Diaz's father. At the moment. I know a lot about Barcelona at the moment, namely that they haven't got 2 peas to rub together and that their former director is being investigated and that they're under investigation for potentially bribing referees and that they are one of the few people still kicking and screaming to try and make the Super League happen because they have no fucking money. That's why. That's why they, Florentino Perez, Juventus, are still holding on to the Super League dream because they have no money. Because they want... Well, Perez different. Perez and Ray a little bit different. He just wants a legacy and he wants that to be his legacy. He wants the best to play the best every week. But you know what? Nobody should want that. Nobody should want this super competition with no downtime, with no poorer games, because it's important that you have those games. It's like your favourite food, your favourite sweet, your favourite takeaway, whatever. It's nice when you have it as a treat. It's nice if you have it a couple of times a month. But if you're eating it 5-6 days a week, you begin to get fed up of it pretty soon. You begin to get pretty, sick of it. And you long for the days where you didn't eat it every day. And that's the Super League shit. It's the greed of a few that they disguise as the good of football. And Barcelona are part of that huge problem. And the way Barcelona is being ran is a joke. And they seemingly have no ethics of how they go after players, no morals with how they potentially destabilise players. And we've seen it again here. So, for me, it's an open and shut thing. Sell him. He's not that good. He's not Mohamed Salah, Alisson Becker, Virgil van Dijk. He's not a generation-defining player. He's somebody that Liverpool brought in and saved him the embarrassment of playing for Spurs. So we should be grateful. He should be grateful for that first and foremost. Yeah, so I'd sell him. That's what I'd do. It's just his dad. Again, are you that naive? Are you that naive? It's just his dad. You're the man that's guided his whole career. The man that's in his ear constantly. But it's just his dad. Dude, do you think his dad says these things without knowing it to be correct? Do you think his dad hasn't had a conversation with his son about Barcelona? Stop the naive nonsense. We're not children here. Let's be frank about it. Of course he's had those conversations with his son. Rachel, thank you for gifting 5 memberships, mate. His dad's words are enough. He guides his career, said JMG. Who's been successful when they've left Liverpool? Very few. And I'm sure there have, like McManaman. He went on to do well in his career when he left Liverpool. But what he will find out very quickly, if he gets a move to Barcelona, is that there is no good grace like you might get in England from English football fans. If you aren't at it every single goddamn week, you are going to be booed off, you are going to be hounded in the media, and your life is going to be made miserable. And they don't care. Suarez is a very good shout. Yes, Suarez had a tremendous spell when he left Liverpool, absolutely. But let me say one thing. Luis Diaz is not Luis Suarez. He is not. He's a fine footballer, and I very much enjoy watching him play. But he's not Suarez. Players are brought into Liverpool as they fit a system most teams don't duplicate, so very little success for players after leaving. No need to bash the man if he wishes to play. What do you mean, no need to bash the man? Have I insulted him personally? Have I spoken about his looks or anything non-football related? It's a fan channel, mate. I'm here to give my opinion. I haven't gone low on anything here. I have given my take on it. And you're entitled to yours. So, where's the bash the man? Did I make the Barcelona comments? Did I spit in the face of the club that have spent a lot of money and time and effort liaising with the Diaz family when they went through that horrendous ordeal that thankfully ended in a positive? Was that me that came out with these comments over the international break? So, I fucking feel it's more than fair to bash the man when he's shown zero, and I mean fucking zero, respect to the club that not only pays his wages, but a club that has treated his son and his family so well. So, respect is a two-way street, mate. You don't just get it, you earn it. Again, I support Liverpool, the football club, the badge. Not a player, no player. The club, the badge. It will be here. It's constant. Players come and go. But if you don't want to be here, off you pop. Simple as that. And if you want to make excuses or blow smoke up someone's arse, have at it. You're free to do so. But I'm giving you my honest opinion on it. And my honest opinion is that it disgusts me that he came out with this week. It's a fan channel, but a lot of fans don't agree. Okay, and what? Am I banning you for not agreeing? Am I calling you names for not agreeing? Have I gone in on any of you personally for not agreeing? Again, if you want to have a pop at me, fine. If you disagree with me, fine. But I'm here to give my opinions. It's that simple. I'm not dragging you to your fucking computer to watch. You clicked into this video, you're having your say, and with the ones don't agreeing, well, I think the votes so far have showed that more people are on the side of what I'm saying than aren't on the side of what I'm saying. So again, be fair, because I'm trying to be here. Me 2 years ago or 6 months ago, I would have been a lot stronger in this, and I would have been a lot more colourful in the language I chose. But I'm trying to show respect, and I haven't in any way demeaned any of the Diaz family. I haven't done anything other than give my fucking opinion. And again, I can't say this strongly enough. No one forces you to be here. Right, a few more bits and pieces. So, transfer sector, I've quoted the Times Sport, and they've said, relegation now looks very real prospect for Manchester City and Chelsea. They go on to say that given the sanction handed out to Everton, the threat of a 30-point deduction or automatic relegation from the Premier League would look to be very real for both City and Chelsea should charges be proven in an independent regulatory commission. So, you can never really equate one case with another in these type of situations. Like, I get that as football fans, we're often really quick to jump on and go, well, Everton have got these points, what about this? But here's what I don't understand, right? We've seen the punishment dished out to Everton. 10 points as it stands. I'm sure it'll be appealed. But as it stands, 10 points for what has been described as a £20 million overspend. So in the 3 years around COVID, clubs were allowed to lose up to £105 million. Everton have apparently reported losses of, I think it was just shy of £125 million, meaning they're about 20 million quid over. Everton have cooperated along with this investigation all the way through and have been given that 10 points. So when I read this and I thought of a 30-point deduction or automatic relegation for Manchester City or Chelsea, and I've got to be honest, I think they're again very different situations. But if Manchester City are found to have breached even half of those, relegation isn't strong enough. I'm sorry, it isn't. Relegation just means they'll be up next year. That's not enough, because this has gone on for 6-7 years. They have increased the value of their brand exponentially through all the positive marketing from trophy lifts and all the smoke blown up their arse from pundits and media outlets all around the world about this great team, this plucky underdog story of Manchester City led by Pep Guardiola. If they're found guilty, cheats. They have willingly and knowingly lied to everybody and stuck two fingers up doing it. So relegation ain't good enough. Manchester City need to be fined into oblivion if they're found guilty, because that's what they deserve. And I don't care about the fans that have been around 40, 50 years, because they all made excuses. I've not come across a Manchester City fan who's put their hands up and gone, yeah, we're taking the piss. No, even Guardiola looked and said he believes his club. Looks and says that nothing's done wrong. And again, they paid a huge fine to UEFA. If they're found guilty of even a quarter of these charges, throw the goddamn book at them, because the integrity of English football, of culture, of what we have bought into, is at stake. It isn't a case of a slap on the wrist. It is, there has to be such a reaction, such a response to this, that nobody, and I mean nobody, will ever consider this again. They need to be made an example of to the fullest powers of the law. and the rules of the Premier League, if they are guilty. Chelsea, I'm going to be honest, I don't know enough about the Chelsea situation. I've spent years looking at the Manchester City situation, reading up on it, reading reports, watching stuff. The Chelsea stuff, I don't really understand what's happening. I know there are irregularities that were found in the Roman Abramovich era, that when Todd Bowley and his new team of executives came in and bought Chelsea, that they immediately seen these discrepancies in the accounts and made the Premier League aware of that. So I don't know enough about the Chelsea situation to really say if there's been wrongdoings or not. I'll never understand how they can spend £1 billion in a year. That baffles me, but yeah, this very week, we're sitting here as football fans talking about morality, talking about rules and regulations, but football itself is potentially on its knees. We've seen, and I mentioned this earlier on, that sponsorship deal that FIFA have just agreed with the Saudi Arabian oil company, is Aramco, or what, I'm not sure, maybe that's their name, is rumoured to be $100 million a year, and runs to the World Cup in 2034 that's going to be in Saudi Arabia. The fuck? Come on now. Seriously. Look at the nonsense with Qatar and how that World Cup got awarded. The very people that profess to look after, to maintain, and to safeguard the integrity of football are selling their fucking souls for money. You will hear every argument back. You're racist, you're Islamophobic, you're xenophobic. No, we're worried, we're concerned, because we see the shithousery. We see what is being done. And we want our sport back. So, what are we going to do? Because nobody seems to want to stand up for the match-going fan, or the fans that pay into this sport, that actually are the stakeholders of the sport. When you see this grubbiness going on in the Premier League with Chelsea, City, and then you've got the Everton thing, and you've got the World Cup thing, and it's never ending. I'm worried. Genuinely scared for football at this point, because when you see so many fans refusing to look past short-sightedness or what benefits them directly in a particular moment, it scares the shit out of me, because it's not going to end well. It just is not going to end well. When you have a national wealth, when you have a crown prince or the entire country's finances at your disposal, how on earth can any football club match that and operate and sustain itself? It is impossible. It is not possible. All football in England is a dick measuring contest for investment funds, for sovereign states, and for people who want to adjust how the world sees their brand. And again, I'm choosing my words carefully. Thoughts on Trent in midfield for England? Me, I'm not watching England-Malta. I have no interest. So yeah, the England game today is not something I've paid any attention to at all. Somebody said, did I miss JC gifted 10 memberships as well? JC, thank you, mate. If I missed that, my apologies. I'm scrolling back up to see if I see it. Yeah, apologies on that one, mate. Right, so the question I asked was, should Liverpool sell him in the summer? Much closer poll this one, to be fair, than the last one. We've got 53% of people saying yes, 47% of people saying no. So 3/4 of you are upset at what Lucho's father said. A bit less willing to sell him. How do you think this gets resolved? Or what do you think happens next in this scenario? I'm intrigued to see, because it feels to me like the start of a saga, if I'm being honest with you. Maybe I'm paranoid about this after what happened with Coutinho, but it just doesn't feel good to me at the moment. A Santino, thank you, mate. Very kindly gifting 5 Anfield Agenda memberships as well, buddy. You're really kind, thank you. Are you aware of Girona as part of the Etihad family? Oh God, yes, Rob. Oh yeah, I know Girona are part of the Manchester City or City brand of football clubs, mate. Yes. I don't know much more than that, though, if I'm being honest with you. I know they're doing very well in the Liga, but I have no idea on the... I don't even know the players, mate, that they have, you know. But yes, I am aware of that much, Rob. What else we got? No club cares more for his players than Liverpool, said Felix. It took a week after he got released, for fuck's sake, said Jack. Look, no matter what happens, I'm so happy, and I stand over every word of that. I'm so happy for the Diaz family that they're reunited and his father's safe. That's I hope that goes without saying, because clearly everybody wanted that outcome, and it was good that the Diaz family were made whole again. No matter what else happens, that's important, and that happened is a good and beautiful thing. But after that, it just feels astonishing. Bro just wants his son to play in Barca so they can move there. Absolutely. But then go about that process respectfully, behind the scenes, not talking to the media about wanting your son to go to Barcelona in the week that's in it, after Liverpool moved heaven and earth to be supportive. Excuse me. It just baffles me. It's looking like Coutinho Situation 2.0. Look, a bit early to say it's... That one went on for a while, to be fair, the Coutinho one. But that's what I keep saying to you. When this stuff happens, right, when you get the leak or the acknowledgement of the interest in Barcelona from the Diaz family, that's okay if Barca have no interest in the player. But we know Barca have an interest in the player. It's been written about this week. It's been mentioned that they wanted him before Liverpool signed him from Porto. So when you combine the comments from Diaz's father with the knowledge of knowing Barcelona are interested very much so in the player, then you have a problem. Because Barcelona won't... I was going to say they won't play by the rules, but they won't stop. They'll be relentless. The articles will be popping up daily. It will be mentioned in talk shows, podcasts. The player will be courted and flirted with publicly to the detriment of Liverpool Football Club, and it will become a distraction. And we don't need another distraction. We've had enough of them. So I want a swift resolution to this, whether that's selling him in the summer or whatever. I don't really care. But I don't think this stops. I don't think this is just going to be a few little words over the international break and it goes away. That's not the Barcelona that I have seen in recent years. To be fair, we mugged off Barcelona for Coutinho. We played a blinder. Absolutely. Agreed. Nobody can say that money wasn't phenomenal. It was 140 odd million euro. Sensational. But after that, Coutinho failed. He didn't deliver. He didn't live up to his end of the bargain. And for Lucho and all his time at Liverpool, and as decent and well as he's been, as much as we've enjoyed playing him, I don't feel like he's irreplaceable. Like, it doesn't feel like losing an Alisson or a Salah as an example. It feels more of a distraction than... Yeah, I think that's fair. Respect Luis Diaz as a player, enjoy watching him, but he is replaceable, in my mind anyway. Brian said, "Hey Craig, I desperately want to be wrong, but I don't see how to get the toothpaste back into the tube. Sport is now simply a vehicle to extract as much money as possible for the super rich and for questionable regimes to whitewash reputations." Again, Brian, thank you, mate, for your incredible generosity. And I guess they're getting the toothpaste back into the tube. I get where you're coming from, and I mean, I was watching that documentary, Brian, as you know, the Super League one, and the closing comments of that were, capitalism has its hands around the throat of football, and it won't let go. So the game is going to be killed by capitalism. It's a matter of when and how. So at this point, it isn't a sport, more as a geopolitical tool to be manipulated to entertain and control the masses, and to change public perception and opinion. Diaz out, Leao or Kvaradona in. I'm a long way from being convinced on Kvaratskhelia. Look, I've been consistently honest about that as well. He's got a lot to do yet to prove for me. And again, I have to be blunt about this. If we see a situation where Diaz moves on, surely we should be moving heaven and earth to try and get Mbappe in the door. You know, whether that's possible or not, we'll see. But I mean, do you know what question I haven't asked tonight? I asked it last night. What's valuation on Diaz in the open market? If Barcelona wanted to put in a bid for Lucho, what would the numbers be? I think somebody said on Transfermarkt they have him valued at about 75 million. Rob, thank you for your comment, mate, said, "Let's be honest, Diaz didn't replace Mane in Klopp's system." I think I'm not going to rewrite history. I think I can absolutely see how Diaz was the most like-for-like type player, probably. You know, getting another Sadio Mane and replicating what Sadio did on a consistent basis at Liverpool would have been difficult. But I felt like, and I still feel like, absolutely can see why Liverpool went there. But have we got that level from him that maybe I would say expected, because I feel that's unfair. I just feel very nonplussed by this whole thing. Like, I feel like he's replaceable. It doesn't scare me, the idea of him going. Brian, thank you for gifting 20 Anfield Agenda memberships as well, mate. You are very, very kind. As young as he is, if they want him, 90 million. He's not that young. If I'm not mistaken, Diaz is 26, 27 now. I think 27 maybe. So he's not that young, but he is in his prime. So yes, in that regard. Yeah, in that regard, perhaps. But he's contracted to Liverpool, just in case any of you didn't know, by the way, till 2027. So that's the contract he currently has at Liverpool Football Club. So again, while we have Brian in the chat as well, just a reminder to everybody, we will be live in Boston, March 22nd, at that venue there. The House of Blues is going to be the House of Reds for one night only. And Team Anfield Agenda are going to Boston, 22nd of March. We'll let you guys know as and when tickets will be available, and we would love to come. We'd love to come say hi. So if you're going to be anywhere near that area, or if you can make it to Boston, March 22nd, we'd love to shake hands and say hello and thank you. Also, I don't know if I can say this or not. I instructed my manager today to look into the viability of a UK tour. That sounds really arsey. I'm trying to fit in 4 or 5 UK shows in the summer. So my manager is looking at the viability of that, and if it's possible, hopefully we get over to the UK in the summer and do a few shows over there, because of all the things I've done, that little moment after the live show in Dublin where I got to meet you all and got to say thank you and got to hear your stories and share moments about Liverpool with you, it stuck with me. And nothing else has made me more proud than meeting those people. So I want to get out and meet as many as I can, in a structured way, I guess. Are we still in for Osimhen? I'm not sure. Um, I'm. I don't see it happening. I don't see it happening. I think he will leave Napoli, but I don't think it'll be for Liverpool. And look, I'm not gonna lie. I would have been sound signing Victor Osimhen, of course, but I don't see it as a likely move. Um, Especially when Chelsea are still sniffing around needing a striker, I would I would feel like that's probably likely or more likely. What are you going to do with the Boston show? I don't understand the question. I'm going to talk about Liverpool and some other stuff that there'll be some audience interaction. There'll be quizzes. There'll be just do a full 2 hour show like I did in Dublin, mate, where it's me and the audience. Simple, really. I missed Daniel's super chat. My apologies. My apologies. Let me scroll back up. Brian's. Daniel, do you think they will offer De Jong or Pedri? Not Pedri. God, no. No. Barcelona will not be shifting Pedri. No way. De Jong, I don't know. Okay, let me ask that question. I'm going to ask, would you swap? In seconds. I'm going to stay on a bit later tonight, by the way. So stick with me. I'm going to stay on later because I'm off tomorrow. So I want to keep chatting tonight. Okay, so simple, straightforward question. Would you swap Lucho for De Jong? And that poll is up. Craig, if Barca would swap Frankie de Jong for Lucho, would it be an automatic go? For me, the answer is yes. But what if we got Andre before? I was saying that earlier on, mate. That is the kind of wild card in this, because I don't know what's going to happen in January. If Liverpool will go back in for Andre or not. It's a tough one. Like, if we go in for Andre, I don't see a need for De Jong, as an example. So I think we'll have a clearer picture after January. Did I see Argentina, Uruguay? Didn't see the games live, but I was keeping track of the scores. So if I remember correctly, it was the Barcelona defender who scored the first goal for Uruguay. And then it was Darwin who scored the second. And that capped off a 2-0 victory, breaking Argentina's unbeaten streak. And then I seen Lucho scoring a brace, obviously, for Colombia to come back from 1-0 down to beat Brazil. Have you had a look at Castellano? He's a bit rough, but with Klopp style. So, weirdly, yes, I have had a little look at him. Don't know enough to say if I think he'd be a fit or not, but weirdly, yes, it is somebody that I'd seen spoken about a little bit. Everton points deduction will open up a can of worms. Absolutely. A big can of worms. So, as an example, I'm going to read you out what Miguel Delaney said about this. So, look, when we're talking about journalists that I respect, by the way, this gentleman here, Miguel Delaney, is right up there at the very top for me. I had the pleasure to meet Miguel once. He was a nice guy, but yeah, he's somebody when Miguel Delaney posts stuff, I pay attention to it because I really do. I do rate him very highly. He said, "There's a feeling 10 points could come down on appeal, so maybe Everton's points deduction will be shortened. There's no possibility of the Court of Arbitration for Sport," and I could have told you that, to be fair, because that's not in the Premier League rules. So as you know, if you have a fine by UEFA or whatever, you can appeal it to the Court of Arbitration for Sport. This isn't the case in the Premier League. Relegated clubs have 28 days for compensation appeals, meaning if Leicester or any of the other clubs that got relegated feel like they have a case to take against the Premier League or the stakeholders in the Premier League, they have 28 days to lodge that. And the last part, Miguel said, the game is struck, i.e. the footballing family has been struck by how high scale the punishment is and the precedent it sets for future cases. So it is very serious, all of this. I have to say, I was shocked to see Everton get a 10 points deduction. I didn't see that coming. You know, we'd heard 12 and stuff like that, but for what it was, it feels very, very, very over the top for me. You know, if Everton had gone into administration, they would have been deducted 9 points to the best of my knowledge. And it doesn't feel like Everton were going out of their way to play the system and cod anybody. To me, it doesn't feel that way. It feels like, yes, they overspent. Yes, they admitted they overspent. But they're trying to turn things around, I guess. And they've got that new stadium and the potential deal for money coming in. It just feels like... Okay, Everton fans might not like me for this next statement, but it feels like they're taking a cheap shot at a weak club. And I mean, what I mean by weak is, in this moment, with how things are at Everton, they're vulnerable. And I feel like this is the Premier League punching down instead of trying to set a proper precedent. Because if this is the precedent for 20 million quid overspent, what on earth could we be in for in the future? Because I don't think it stops here. Manchester City this week announced record revenues of over £700 million. And so, just... Okay. For me, looking at this and the Premier League now, I see a potential where Qatar or a very prominent Qatari citizen tried to buy Manchester United. You have Newcastle, owned by the investment arm of the Saudi Arabian royal family. You have Manchester City, owned by Abu Dhabi, pretty much. For me, it just feels like it's becoming a Gulf pissing contest. And it will come down to who's willing to just spend the most. I just don't see how this ends well. It feels like a race to the bottom. Because it's happening in boxing. And I'm baffled. Like, to hear people talk about how great Saudi is for boxing. And how none of these fights would have been possible without Saudi. Do you know what I hear? Greedy fuckers wouldn't fight in England or America and wanted ludicrous amounts of money, and Saudi were the only ones willing to do that. And to hear people bow down and worship people who have no fucking reason to be worshipped is sickening to me. It is sickening. What I see with boxing is these fights being taken out of the UK, and the UK, who had been the lifeblood of boxing along with America, being shafted by greedy fuckers who don't give a shit about the fans or anything else other than their own bottom line. And I don't get how people don't look at it like that. Like, these fights wouldn't have been possible without Saudi. Yeah, because you're too fucking greedy. You're too greedy that you won't fight unless it's astronomical amounts of money. And they aren't feasible for real businesses in real countries that have to make a profit. It's not doable. So, in comes Saudi, stage left. All these events that they've put on. Look at the Ngannou Fury fight. Ronaldo was there. Mike Tyson was there. Everybody who's anybody was there. How do you think they were there? Do you think they were there because they fucking love boxing? Were they there because Saudi's the destination? They were there because they were paid. They were there because this spectacle has been beamed around the world to highlight and big up a country who wants their interpretation in the world changed. It's mind-blowing. Couldn't agree more with what you've just said about boxing. I love boxing, but watching the fights over there is boring. There's no atmosphere. It's shit. You can talk about spectacles all you want and the show they put on. You'd hear a pin drop at the fights. And I've been lucky enough to be at some events in Ireland and England for boxing. And my God, hairs on the back of your neck stuff. I've been up in Leeds watching Josh Warrington. Unbelievable. I've been in London watching AJ. Unbelievable. I've been in Belfast watching Frampton. Unbelievable. And I've been lucky enough to be in Dublin watching Katie. Unbelievable. That's the lifeblood of boxing. The fans. And again, it's been taken away because of the greed of a few. And people are bigging this up. I'm astonished at the short-sightedness of so many. And how quickly people's morals and belief systems are for sale and out the window as soon as money gets put under their nose. Look at Henderson going to Saudi. Look at the bullshit he has come out with about wanting to grow the game. 600 people at one of the games. 600 people. How's that grown the sport? We're being manipulated again, constantly. And we have to make a stand in life at times. You have to draw a line and say enough is enough. I missed 2 super chats. I know, but I can't stop a comment to get back. I'm here now. Is this situation why Liverpool have lost interest in Andre? I'll come on to that theory because I've been asking myself the very same thing, Isty. Laser Sharp said, "Hi Craig, do you think Man City are shitting themselves in light of Everton's 10 points deduction?" That's a very good question, my friend. My honest answer to that is the arrogance that I've seen shown from Manchester City's executives and the people that they've pushed out in front of cameras to talk about these situations. No, I don't think they're shitting themselves because I think their arrogance believes they can buy anything and that it doesn't matter what we see with our own 2 eyes. If they tell you it's not happening, it's not happening, and we're all supposed to just believe that. So I weirdly don't think they'd be shitting themselves now because I think their arrogance is going to get them through that period. Would you go in the ring with Mark? Who, Goldbridge? Come on now. Look, due respect, I'd slap him around like a child. He knows that. You know that. Stop asking stupid questions. And I don't get this. Mark won't even sit in a room with me to have a conversation about other stuff that I can't talk to you about. So the idea of getting into a ring with him, mate, he hasn't got the nuts for it. Salary cap is probably the way to go. Save the game, but that means that you better get your scouting down because you're going to want to be screwing up. Trust me, I see it in America every day. So a salary cap sounds great. But if we've learned anything from football clubs, over the last 10 years, they'll find a way around it. They'll find a way to inflate things. They'll find a way to pay people underhandedly. So we're still looking for answers to some very strange questions, like the actors, the models that were listed on Companies House or listed as being executive of some of the companies, as Manchester City's official betting partner, I believe it was. Teddy Sheringham still promoting stuff for a company that nobody seems to really know anything about. We've seen the talk of Mancini being paid through separate accounts. They'll just find ways. You know, somebody needs to save football from itself. That's what I feel at this point. The Premier League and everyone's trying to do everything to stop this independent regulator, but people regulating themselves never really goes well, does it? Because there's vested interests to protect. What do you think we should do if we end up swapping Lucho for De Jong plus fee? Mbappe, Gakpo on the left. Mbappe. So I did promise Isti I'd get back to his comment. Where was Isti's comments? There it is. So, is this situation why we've lost interest in Andre? So, the truth is I don't know. I don't know on that one. But I can tie it up in a neat little bow in my mind. So, yes, can I see how Liverpool maybe want to try and angle to get De Jong? Yeah. Can I see a deal that Barcelona would move De Jong on and bring in Diaz? Yeah. Can I see Liverpool paying his wages? That's where I start to struggle with De Jong, to be honest with you. You know, he's rumoured to be on 400 grand a week or something like that. So that I would struggle with for De Jong as an example. But with Mbappe, could I, in my little warped brain, envision a situation where we bring in a central defensive midfielder like De Jong and have that space free on the left for Mbappe? Yes, I very much can. Just imagine for a second, imagine we got 2 seasons of Mbappe and Salah in the same team, with Núñez through the centre. Unlikely, granted. I'll give you that, but Real ain't selling Tchouaméni. Real are in a little bit of trouble in that regard at the minute, aren't they? I think Tchouaméni, Camavinga, if I'm not mistaken, injured. So yeah, there's some injury concerns creeping in there as well for Mr. Ancelotti. Ten Hag will go ballistic if we end up getting De Jong. Look, I get it. United made a big play for Frenkie de Jong, and look at anything I've said during that time. I very consistently said, I don't care if he goes to United. You won't hear me say anything derogatory about Frenkie de Jong as a footballer because he's a really good footballer. What shocked me was somebody last night saying he's 26 going on 27. See, that could be the bigger issue. Am I watching the Ireland versus Holland game tomorrow? I am, yeah. I am. I'm going to watch that and a few other bits and pieces for tomorrow. That's why I'm taking tomorrow off. So I'm going to stay on till 10 o'clock. So we've 20 minutes to go. And I won't be live tomorrow at all because I'm taking a day. I haven't had a day off in 3 weeks or something. So I'm going to take a day off tomorrow. But look, let's finish up with some questions from you guys. I'm not going to go to my notes anymore. I'm going to close that down. Oh, hang on, actually, something just came in to my inbox. 1 second. So, Sky Sports have put out a post around Paper Talk saying, according to the Times, the threat of a 30-point deduction or automatic relegation from the Premier League would look to be very real for both Manchester City and Chelsea should charges be proved in an independent regulatory commission. I still don't feel that's strong enough. I don't get how you equate 20 million quid overspend for Everton being worth 10 points and a potential 115 charges for Manchester City being worth 30, it doesn't make sense to me. It's not enough. It's nowhere near a strong enough deterrent. I wonder if they're testing the water at the minute of public opinion. Because I do think that happens. I could be having a tinfoil hat moment here. But in my little brain, I do feel like we're being tested at the minute to see what's palatable to the football world. To see if there would be much of a pushback from a 30. Like, make no mistake about this. Manchester City being relegated does nothing. Only stops them for a season. Because what's the thing that fucks up most clubs when they get relegated? They lose their players. Why do they lose their players? Because they can't afford to keep them on. That's not going to be an issue for Manchester City. So relegating them just postpones them coming back to the top table and taking the piss for ever. They spent years, in my opinion, playing the system and signing players that they realistically couldn't afford to do in a normal open market, and getting sponsorship deals that I don't feel they got market value of. I feel those were inflated as well on favourable terms. So relegating them will just mean they'll be back up in 1 year and we're back to square one. Doesn't feel like a big enough deterrent for me. Because again, you're not talking about a club that will have to sell off all their players. They'll loan out a few of them for a year, get their wages covered, and then rinse and repeat. So I asked you, would you swap Lucho for De Jong? Very close. Very close, this one, my friends. 52% of you said yes, and 48% of you said no. And I get it. I totally understand. Like, I've disagreed with a lot of people on a lot of things tonight. I totally get that. It's not like a palatable decision that any of us want to have to make, right? Like, when I got up yesterday, I didn't think I'd be sitting here tonight talking about Diaz's father coming out with what he came out with. What about Diaz or for Gavi or Araujo or Pedri? So Barca are going to want to move players on because they have to be cagey in how they do their rebuild. And it's already been briefed that they're willing to sell the likes of Rafinha and Ferran Torres. Now, obviously, neither of those two would be of interest to Liverpool, nor should they be. So I don't know if giving Barcelona a straight run and a swap idea for Lucho is getting them off the hook too easy. I would rather Liverpool rake them over the coals like they did with Coutinho and almost made them pay an embarrassing amount of money if they wanted to come for Lucho. Like, I'd flip it back at them. As in, you want him so badly? He's the one. It's now or never. Pay up. Pay up. Pay up or he sits there. Simple. Contracted to 2027. I think he's on 55 grand a week, maybe 60 grand a week. So Liverpool should be able to afford to take that on the chin to make a point. That's what I do. If there's any shenanigans behind the scenes, sit in the reserves. That's it. Simple as that. Barca always pull a silly one and try come in for our players. They don't do it. So annoying. Look, no matter what happens now, this is an unwelcome headache for Jurgen Klopp, and this will, no matter what people say, because people are always trying to have a very positive outlook on things, and that's a beautiful thing in itself. But it will be a destabilising factor. It will take conversation. It will be questions Jurgen Klopp will be asked in press conferences. It is going to happen. And unless this story is nipped in the bud extremely quickly, I don't see how this doesn't become a bit of a weight in Jurgen Klopp's pockets. What was actually said? No problem. Bear with me. I'll get you the quotes again. Right. So, again, quote was, "It is true that Luis is a loyal Barcelona fan and it would be his dream to go there. So far, I would like to thank Porto and Liverpool for the way they welcomed him and received him." Another quote attributed to him was, "The truth is that I know very little about Barcelona at this moment." Well, they're the two quotes. Again, you can, I guess, interpret them how you want to. It's, again, it just makes me angry. The more I look at them, the more angry I get. Arian said, "Craig, stupid from Lucho's dad, given he's given Barca a sniff now and they're going to come hunting like wolves." Absolutely. So somebody said the second line is dreadful. Which one, Samuel, mate? Is it, "The truth is I know very little about Barcelona at the moment"? Is that the one? Or are we talking about, "So far, I would like to thank Porto and Liverpool for how they welcomed him and received him"? I'm not sure which one of those for yourself is the one that frustrates you. Because I know, look, I chatted in our Discord group about this as well beforehand, and like every other aspect in life, there are people who don't think it's that deep. There are people who are fuming. There are people in the middle. Dwitzier said, "As a Colombian Madrid fan, if he goes to Barca, I will cry. I know very little about Barcelona. It's very bad, almost like they're in talks." Oh, yeah. Okay, Samuel, now I get you. Yeah, I know very little about Barcelona at the moment. The truth is that I know very little about Barcelona at the moment. How to interpret that? Because does he mean, and I don't know the answer to this, I know very little about Barcelona at the moment, as in I'm not paying much attention to them, which kind of goes against the whole son being a huge fan thing? Or does he mean I know very little about the situation at the moment? I don't know the answer to that one. Let him go, who cares? Nesh, I'm definitely in that camp, mate. But, you know, I got given out to in the comments earlier on by a couple of people who were, and I'm still shocked at this, by the way, telling me not to go in on him. Like I'm the one who came out with the statement. You know, if I came on here and started saying, you know, F Lucho, his dad's a CUNT, and I just did none of that. I came on, read the comments, gave my interpretation, and said how disappointed and frustrated I am, and how I feel like it's a slap in the face. But apparently that's going in on him, according to some people. I don't know. Are we signing Andre or not? Nobody knows the answer to that, Paul. I could lie to you, mate, but I won't. But I do think that will give us a good indication, especially when the De Jong stuff, like I mentioned. If Liverpool have an interest... Oh, actually, and I have something on this for you. 1 second. Let me just read something else out to you here. So, a couple of things. One about Andre. Said Fluminense would accept a £30 million January offer, according to Football Insider. Liverpool inquired about the Brazilian in the summer following their failed pursuit of Romeo Lavia and Moise Caicedo, and while adding Endo. The outlet claims that Liverpool are scouring, the market for defensive midfield options. And then the Echo say, however, as the Echo reported in November, there is no present desire to recruit a number 6 in the new year. So, again, take that what you will. So I'm trying to read back on something, because somebody sent something to me earlier on. Trying to find where this is. Bear with me. Somebody sent something to me earlier on. I haven't got it, so I can't go back to it. I'm trying to figure out if I can remember the context of it. Because it was about De Jong and that situation. Man City 30-point deduction is a joke if it happens. I agree. Why hammer? It doesn't feel... anywhere near enough of a deterrent to me. Craig, if I'm not mistaken, didn't Coutinho promise Klopp he'd stay for the whole season? Yes. So I like to try and give credit, Arian, whenever I can, and especially if I remember the outlets. But Melissa Reddy wrote a really good piece at the time about the situation with Felipe Coutinho. And yes, there was an agreement in the summer after the whole furore about the Barcelona thing. There was an agreement that he stays for this season and that Liverpool will look at it again the next summer. And I remember from Melissa Reddy's piece that at one point, Felipe Coutinho had asked senior players at Liverpool to try and speak to Jurgen Klopp to help make that move happen. And that was again, I don't want to put words in Melissa's mouth, but I'm trying to remember the article, that was one of the tipping moments for Klopp, that trust had been broken, let's say. So yes, he did give a guarantee that he would stay. But like I warned earlier on, Barca then came in and said, it's now or never. If you want the Barca dream, it's now or never. And not only did they do that, they actually made the poor fucker pay money out of his own pocket, apparently, to make the deal a possibility. Which is why I've always been so furious about Coutinho. Because he shafted our manager. He shafted the fan base. He went back on his word. And yeah, it still to this day sticks in my throat a little bit. If it wasn't for Diaz, we wouldn't have lost to Luton. Or if it wasn't for Diaz, we would have lost to Luton. Yeah, or so if you wanted to flip that, if it wasn't for the shit refereeing, we would have had 1 or 2 penalties against Luton. You know, Barkley handball, Van Dijk being pulled down, Haaland got pulled down for less, got a penalty. That's all I'm saying. Personally, I think the perfect winter-summer transfer window for us would be Andre Mbappe and Bakayoko, with Lucho being sold. Don't know enough about Bakayoko myself, mate. Do like Nico Williams if he's on a free as well, if his contract's up from Bilbao. Am I scared he will leave? Lucho, not scared, no. Just if he wants to, off you pop. That's Lucho's replaceable for me. He's a good player. He's a player I very much enjoy watching. So yeah, from that perspective, look, I like Lucho. Good player, enjoy watching him, but he's not irreplaceable. He's not Salah. He's not Alisson. So if he wants to go to Barcelona, then tell Barcelona to put up or shut up. Diaz is an important player, though. Again, fan of the player, but I don't think he's that important. You know? Yeah, he's not going down as a Liverpool legend, no matter what happens. He's not that level of player. He's a category below your Firminos, your Salahs, your Van Dijks, your Alissons. He's a category below that for me. Good player. Enjoy watching him. Definitely talented. But not irreplaceable. Ridiculous cancel culture. The fuck are you whinging about now, Red Baron? I seen you were crying a minute ago because, I don't know, somebody must have timed you out. Wasn't me, by the way. And you were whinging about that, and now you're crying about cancel culture. Nobody's cancelled you, you little bitch. You're still here whinging. You get to have your say, but it doesn't mean we have to put up with your nonsense if the mods don't like what you're saying. We have a code of conduct. We have a standard that we like to keep in our chat. Go whinge somewhere else. You change your name to Red Bitch instead of Red Baron. Because all you've done in this is cry. All the way, who timed me out? Who timed me out? Get over it. It's not that deep, dude. Chill. Fucking cancel culture. Like, everyone's going, let's cancel Red Baron. You know that mythical lad that nobody knows who he is. Let's cancel him. Oh, I don't think you understand cancel culture, mate. For somebody to be cancelled, they have to have some type of prominence. They have to have some type of stature. But hey, maybe you think you're a big deal. I don't know. I don't even think I could be cancelled because I'm a nobody. And I'm sitting here with 220 something thousand subscribers, and I still think of myself as Johnny Nobody. You know what I mean? So chill with the cancel culture stuff. If Mbappe is Diaz's replacement, who's going to replace Salah in the future? So I have a phrase that I like to trot out in these type of occasions where it's that's future Craig's problem. The present Craig would be very happy at the idea of Kylian Mbappe. Future Craig, he can worry about the Mohamed Salah stuff if that happens down the line. But present Craig is very much trying to be in the here and now. But it's a fair comment. It's a fair comment you've made. Don't know, but imagine, just humour me for a second. Imagine we had an extension for Mo for 2 more years. So imagine Mo signs on and we've got 3 years of Mo. Then we sell Lucho and somehow we manage to get Mbappe. Just humour me for a second. So we've kept Mo. He feels he's unfinished business. Mo gets wind that Liverpool are trying to bring in Mbappe. And Mo's thinking to himself, oh, hello, a bit of Mbappe on the opposite side. Well, that'll free up some space for me. I can buy into that. So then we end up with an attack of Kylian Mbappe, Darwin Núñez, Mohamed Salah with Diogo Jota and Cody Gakpo. Even if we only had it for a few years, tell me that wouldn't be the best period. Tell me that you would not be absolutely wetting yourself for the games to come around every week. I would very, very much. I think I'd need a change of underwear if that happened. That's the most politically correct way I can describe how that would make me feel. How are we going to raise the money for Mbappe? We've just sold Lucho in this scenario, dude. Relax. I got you. We've just sold Lucho, remember? And apparently Kylian Mbappe wants 30 million quid a year. That's been reported today. That's 575 G's a week. If he wants that, even if it is after tax, by the way, that's what, $1 million quid a week? 1.1 million quid a week? With the shirt sales and stuff and the money from Lucho, I feel like we could straddle that for a couple of years. You know, I feel like it's very un-Liverpool. I'll give you that. It's very un-Liverpool to have 2 big superstars like that in, but I don't know. What's the next level for us? You know, where we are right now, we've won everything with FSG and Klopp. We've had a bit of a down period for the last couple of years, but I guess if you want to keep evolving the club and building the club's brand and, you know, increasing its marketability, having the likes of Kylian Mbappe and Mohamed Salah in one goddamn team would not do any harm at all. And the number 7 gets freed up in that scenario as well. I'm just putting it out there. It is a beautiful dream, and it most likely is that, a dream. But, do you think Mo would want to go more if we got Mbappe because he would come in and take the limelight? Now that's a fair point. I don't know. It's tough to know because, as I say before, I don't know Mo the person. I don't know Kylian Mbappe the person. And Mo's the man at Liverpool, right? Mo's the guy. Mo's the talisman. Mo's the superstar. Mo's the highest paid player we've ever had at the club. Deservedly so on every front. So, I don't know. I think you'd like to think you'd say to yourself, well, we're going to win shit here, aren't we? The numbers are going to be incredible. I'm going to get an even bigger opportunity to win more stuff. And ultimately, players want to look back at their career and have legacy. They want to have trophies. They want to have those memories. So, I don't know. I truly don't know. I'd hope that Mo would look at it as a positive. But I guess it's difficult because they're all alpha males, right? You don't get to this point in life to be a Messi, a Ronaldo, a Salah, and Mbappe. You don't get there without having been very single-minded and being very driven and being very win-oriented. So tough to know. Can you manage the egos? If anybody could do it, I'd say it would be Jurgen. Mo is already 32. If he play 1 or 2 more years in Liverpool to win, I think Mo can do 35 at the top level. Look at him. He's incredible from a physical perspective. The man is he's chiseled out of granite. You know what I mean? The dude is just. We've seen Ryan Giggs' career, and we've seen the longevity that Giggs had because of the lifestyle he lived, i.e. yoga and stuff like that. We've seen Jimmy Milner have the career he's had. Gareth Barry equally had a really long career. Because those guys live it. They live the life. Ronaldo's playing at the age he's still playing at because of how well he looks after himself. Messi, same thing. I put Salah in that category of superhuman. As Klopp said, he's not 32. He's not got the body of a 32-year-old. I see Mbappe at United. Is that what you're trying to say? I don't think they can afford him. If Sheikh Jassim had have taken over, I would have said there's a strong possibility that you see him there. But not with Jim Ratcliffe. I don't think that's the direction United are going to look to go. I don't think that'll happen, mate. Not with Jim Ratcliffe and the way they're trying to structure things. They're trying to cut out all those over-the-top overspends. He's 31. I think he meant at the end of the season if he gave him 2 more years. But look, either way, Mo has 2-3 years left in him. I think most of us would agree on that one. Signing Sane is more realistic than Mbappe. More realistic? Probably. A better deal? Absolutely not. And also, it looks like he's going to negotiate to stay at Bayern. Christian Falk was talking about that, I think it was yesterday, where there was going to be a negotiation for him to stay on there. Actually, weirdly, Manchester City had been linked with Sane yesterday as well. And I don't want Sane at Liverpool. He's got too much of a sketchy injury record for my liking. And I would have loved him when City got him from Schalke. If Liverpool had a chance to get him then, I very, 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 very much would have been in the yes camp. But not now. I think he's having the best time of his career right now at Bayern Munich, and he's in a golden moment. I don't think we judge him at his very best. I think we judge him across the board over the last 3, 4, 5 years, and there's too many inconsistencies for me in that one. Not going to lie, I think all the gossip about Mbappe having an ego was all media BS. Well, that comment's disappeared there. Look, again, I always say this. We don't know these guys. And yes, we've seen the reports, but I've seen similar reports about Danny Sturridge before Liverpool signed him, and anybody that I've spoken to or anybody that has been in and around Liverpool can only speak glowingly about Sturridge, particularly the younger players, how he was like a big brother to them. And, what we got from Daniel Sturridge versus what some people said we were getting was night and day. We got a lovely fella who gave us some amazing times at Liverpool. Always came across as a sound, fun-loving fella. Frustrating with injuries, of course, yes, but not the troublemaker that someone made him out to be. So, Mark, who's our chief moderator, said he was timed out because he accused the kidnappers of being Barcelona fans. He called us out for it, and now he's saying ridiculous cancel culture. So, Red Bitch, you think you get the right to say the kidnappers of Luis Diaz family were Barca fans and that was all linked up, and then cry about getting timed out by our moderator, who's doing a cracking job, by the way, as are all our moderators, and then cry cancel culture. Mate, you should be grateful that that's all you got. Because I'd imagine if you said that to Mr. Diaz or his family, a slap would have probably been forthcoming. As Mike Tyson said, social media has got a lot of people feeling very brave because they haven't got a slap in the mouth. You don't get. This isn't America. There is no freedom of speech. You don't get to say shit without consequences. You get to say what you want, but we get to respond as well. So yeah, I'll always back my mods. So thank you, Mark, for that one. And thank you to our moderators for all of their work. Accidentally deleted it. Not going to lie. I think the gossip about Mbappe having an ego is all media hate. I've always seen him as a humble and funny guy, but would be perfect for our dressing room. I feel like he's a soft spot for Liverpool, Mr. Mbappe. He spoke, unless I'm misremembering this, and feel free to call me up on it if I am. I feel like he's said he's played Liverpool on FIFA. He respects Klopp. We know his mum has a very soft spot for Liverpool, the football club as well. And as I've said, it's not my words you have to take that Liverpool have been speaking with with Mbappe for 6 years. Look at some very, very, very credible media outlets. L'Equipe, as an example, saying that Liverpool have kept in contact with him for 6 years and that channel of communication's been open and friendly, and that Liverpool are very highly regarded by the Mbappe family and entourage because of the respectful nature of all of these comments and communication. So it feels like I've always thought we're the best of the rest for the Mbappe scenario. If it's not Real Madrid, I've always felt there was a little chance for us. Everyone is obsessed with Mbappe. Well, come on now, bud. He's pretty damn good at the old football. I love how this channel is so loving and protective, even Adam's channel. Mate, you guys mean a lot to us. I know what side my bread is buttered on. And I know without you, without your commitment, without your kindness, that I don't have a platform. That I have nothing. And I know that. And I'll never ever take that for granted. So I am protective at times of people. But it's because I'm spoiled. I am. I'm spoiled. I'm spoiled because I get to have the best community in football fandom. And it takes me aback a little bit when I see the shitty comments come true, because they're very few and far between, which is a beautiful thing. But again, that's down to you, and that's down to your kindness. Right, you bastards. I'm going to say goodnight, and I will see you on Sunday. So yes, thank you for everything. Appreciate you all tonight again coming in. I know it gets up and down, heated, and we have back and forth, but I couldn't do it without you all, and I wouldn't want to do it without you all. So thank you for that, and I will see you on Sunday. Have yourselves a wonderful weekend, and if anything pops up, we will of course keep you up to date.